Hi, smart people. Welcome back to Accident Path. We're your hosts, Natalie,
Remy,
Maylee,
and I'm Allie.
Today we are discussing the Argentine independence movement from Spain.
We all know about the big dogs in Latin American revolutions. There's Toussaint, Simone, even Napoleon, taking over the whole entire world. But in the Latin American Revolution, there are bigger dogs out there. I'm talking Belgrano, Castilla, and Juan de San Martin. They were all soldiers, all scholars, and all Enlightenment believers. We'll start off with the first believer, Belgrano. Belgrano was a Creole, and after he graduated from university, he really got acquainted to the Enlightenment ideals. Now, he didn't have much experience with military and revolutions, but he could not just stand and watch as his rights were stripped away from him, his freedoms and his liberties. He had a voice in the Spanish government because he worked on the Spanish government. He really tried to push for education, agriculture, trade, commerce, basically any liberal ideas back in the day. He quickly and repeatedly got shut down.
His already held government power gave him military power, and even though he was inexperienced, he carried Argentina through thick and thin. When the war started, he was named a general. Since he was not a very knowledgeable general and didn't have much experience, he did not succeed, so he was later demoted and was just a face to the revolution. But since many Creoles did not have military experience either, he was their only option. He eventually led them to victory.
Next up on the revolutionaries is La Voz de la Revolución, Juan José Castilla. Juan really was the voice of the revolution. He was a lawyer, so he was really good at speaking and negotiating. He even spoke at the Open Cabildo, which was basically an event that discussed the Spanish government and what they would do as their own Argentina government, what they would do with the military, the revolution, and just basically everything about the revolution spoke at the Open Cabildo. Since he was a big believer in the Enlightenment, he really did speak out and was a strong spokesman in portraying the ideas of the revolution to others, to other political leaders, to patriots, to people who were just living in Argentina. He also didn't have much military experience like Belgrano, but he did lead a revolt in Upper Peru, which was unsuccessful, but it caused a rippling effect of other revolts and other rebellions and created more sense of unity and want for freedom and liberty. He later died of tongue cancer, but his words still lived on through the revolution.
San Martin is up next. This will be quick since he is a major leader in many revolutions, and you can check out our other videos for more information. He was a viceroyalty, soldier, statesman, and a well-known hero. He led revolutions against the Spanish in Argentina, Chile, and Peru. He was a loyal Spanish soldier until Napoleon's occupation in Spain. After this, he was promoted through the ranks in the military, but when he was supposed to be going to Lima, he went to Buenos Aires instead. There, he led many successes in the revolution and became a very important figure in Argentina, and was wanted for Chile and Peru to help revolt against the Spanish there as well. Finally, on our list of major leaders was Baltasar Hidalgo de Cisneros. He was the Viceroy of Rio de la Plata. He was in the Navy, and during that time period, he progressed through the ranks and served in the Spanish campaigns against the revolting French. He was sent to Buenos Aires in June of 1809 by the Seville junta that was ruling Spain. His 9 months serving politics were due to the decline of economic conditions in Buenos Aires. Due to the unsuccessful attempts to better the economy, he called for an open cabildo. This was also called due to the fall of the Seville to the French. While Hidalgo thought he would be called upon to rule the new government, the cabildo decided to dispose of his rule, so he was in turn sent back to Spain. He was pardoned of the loss of Buenos Aires and was then selected to lead Navy and was promoted to Captain General and was in the position until his death. Now that you know who we are talking about, I will pass you to our other host to talk about the revolution itself.
The Spanish first arrived in Argentina in the early 1500s. The land was populated by many native groups that had their own culture and language. The territory was divided into 2 viceroyalties that were represented by the Spanish king, the Viceroyalty of New Spain and the Viceroyalty of Peru. In the 18th century, the Viceroyalty of Peru split into 2 new separate cities, New Granada and Rio de la Plata. The political structure of Argentina was composed of peninsulares and Creoles.
Hey guys, now most of the people that occupied important roles in the monarchy were peninsulares. The Creoles did not approve of this because they also wanted a voice in the monarchy. They began demanding for social change, not only because they wanted a voice, but the ideas of the American and French Revolution, as well as freedom to trade with foreign colonies, also fueled this need. Now, the opportunity for change presented itself in 1806 when the British attacked on Buenos Aires. This attack from the British was a major cause for Argentine independence because local militias were able to help fend off the British. The city contained important ports that were used for importing and exporting agricultural goods. After the attack, a peninsular named Rafael de Sabramonte fled the city, taking the public treasury with him.
Just like when we stated above, things were getting heated between the Criollos and the Peninsulares, and just to make everything worse, during the invasion by Napoleon, they created the Junta de Sevilla, which replaced the Linares of Rio de la Plata. Belgrano, who Ali mentioned earlier, advised Linares to rebel and fight for the land that is his.
He was killing it. And later on, Linares did not fight and he let Hidalgo take his place. After his takeover, the French began to take more Spanish territory. The Junta of Seville was disestablished, which fueled the May Revolution in 1810. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth with this revolution, but it did play a major role in starting the Argentine War. This is where modern Argentina came about, and May 25th is when Argentina established its first independent government, the Premier Junta.
What's new, beautiful thinkers? Today I will be enlightening you on the effects of the Argentine independence. I will be predominantly discussing 4 specific areas for you. First, let me paint a picture for you. The first effect of the Argentine independence movement was that it was made possible to create a sovereign and independent state that was called the United Provinces of the Rio de la Plata. This is Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Bolivia in modern day. This is due to the British's failed attempts to take Buenos Aires between the years of 1806 and 07. This has also encouraged the resolve of the Creoles' rule, even though the Supreme Junta of Spain tried re-establishing their territory. The Creoles of Buenos Aires organized a cabildo, or governing hall, to proclaim the United Provinces of Rio de la Plata, which thus set up a revolutionary junta loyal to Ferdinand. By 1810, the efforts were successful, and Spanish rule was eliminated in Argentina. However, the independence was not declared until 1860.
Secondly, upon achieving independence from Spain, the Argentine territory had its own economy, which led to notable economic growth in its favor. This consisted of 3 things: drastic improvements of trade, money going towards schooling, which I'll further discuss later, and the removal of mercantilistic restrictions imposed by Spain. Thirdly, as previously stated, amongst economic prosperity, strong educational growth became prevalent as well, to which schools and universities were created and scholarships were awarded to students, which encouraged the development of Argentinian culture as a whole. And last but not least, on the contrary, a consequential effect of the independence was the existence of various civil wars between Unitarians and Federals due to the political organizations of this territory. These Argentine civil wars were between the years of 1814 and 1853. These conflicts presented the formation of a stable governing body until the signing of the Argentine Constitution, which was in 1853. That's a long time. The period had a heavy influence of the Brazilian Empire, but I'm not complaining because I love me a Brazilian steakhouse. Oh wait, resources have further educated me that they fought Argentinians on multiple occasions for states and provinces. Steak doesn't sound so good anymore. Other nations alongside Brazil, including Banda Oriental, Paraguay, and the Alto of Peru, were also involved in the scramble for territories during the Civil War. This essentially sums up the premises of the Argentine Civil Wars. If I explained everything, we would be here for hours. Now I'm going to pass everything along to Ali. Thanks for tuning in with me.